Hello, Matthew.
Hello, dear Forrest. How are you, my friend?
Hello, I'm bloody good, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good, man. I can't tell you how pumped I am for this episode, honestly.
We have been like excited kids at Christmas, mate, this week.
I mean, it's been excitement levels at the absolute maximum. I'll say something on the podcast right now. I text Forrest early this morning going, honestly, this is one of the happiest things that is in my life right now, and I cannot wait for today's episode. And it is so true. Yeah, man. Yeah, how are you, though? How's life?
I'm good, mate. Life's good. It's been a while, isn't it? Because the last one we did was in person. We did it here.
Yep.
And then before that, you and Rach did your little one, and we had summer, basically. We've had summers, like, what a whirlwind it's been for our summer.
It feels like we've gone on a little separate wildcard journey, which is what we do with the wildcard movie episodes, which is exactly what the purpose is for that. But now we are back. We are back with Phase 4. The autumn is arriving. It's going straight into Christmas as well. You know, I cannot wait. We've got Phase 4 still to go through. We've been doing Phase 4 all year. And yeah, getting back on that train, I'm so pumped. I'm ready for this.
I am ecstatically ready for this. I don't know how to beat you there with adjectives, but
I don't know. Yeah,
positively pumped. Yeah. I just can't wait, man. I'm just so excited. I
feel like you're trying to pump yourself up even more then. You saw my levels and you're like, Jesus, this came in hot.
I'm like, how can we go bigger than this? Come on, run myself up. Just to say to everybody, you at home, this will be the first podcast that goes live, not live. Well, live at the time.
Yeah.
It will go on to YouTube. It will be the first full episode on YouTube. So this gets uploaded audibly, so to streaming sites, including YouTube, ironically, on Wednesday, and then next Saturday, or this Saturday, we will be posting the big deal on YouTube. It's
absolutely
exciting.
And you should absolutely listen to both versions, because when I say versions, the Saturday version is an uncut version. So whatever happens in this podcast, I mean, is going on YouTube. So this was an 100%. Uncut version, video version. You can watch it on YouTube, and if anything bringing more stuff out.
Incriminates us, then we may have to edit at the last minute. But hopefully nothing incriminating happens in the next hour, and we'll be
We're just raising the stakes, aren't we? We're just raising the stakes for each other, and I'm fine with that, if you are.
Why not? How's your week been anyway? You asked me how my week's been, huh?
It's weird. This is the week where life goes back to normal in a way. Like, summer's finished, the girls are back at school. I don't know if you heard a scream there. That was a child in the living room. Wasn't a cat. That was my kid. So everything's gone back to normal. Work's going back to normal. So it's a weird feeling, but it's a good feeling, because I kind of like the routine. Do you know what I mean? I'm really excited to get back into the routine with you and I getting into this and stuff. And Phase 4 in particular is, you know, we've got Moon Knight coming as well. We've got Multiverse of Madness coming. We soon, you know, to be catching up with all the MCU content. So I'm pretty excited about this, and particularly this is one particular movie since we started this podcast I was really excited about. This came out, I think, almost around the time when we started, I think.
It did, no.
It was 21. It was
2021. We've been going since May 2022, mate.
Oh, okay, fair play.
Yeah.
Maybe when did we come up with it? Did we come up with the idea to do it at that?
No, Film Club. Film Club started.
That's
when Film Club. So we and a few people got into this little film club. I think this is the first film we did that, because this is ages. This is November 2021. This is, Matt. So this is
ridiculous, really.
Way before release. No, December. Sorry, December the 17th. Release date into theatres. Yes. So yeah, we went and saw it, and oh my god, what a time to be alive! Have we said the name of the film yet?
We haven't announced it yet. Oh, and as well, by the way, last week you done me dirty. There was no intro. There was no opening credit intro. No. Listen to it.
It was.
I announced it. There was no intro.
Yeah, because didn't I put it after our little pitter patter afterwards? Because you laugh, and then I said a little pitter patter, and then it goes into it.
Did I miss that?
You missed the entire. Definitely an intro in last week's
Right.
episode.
Well, I'm not missing it. I'm not missing it right now. So I'm about to readjust my hat and tell everybody, dear listener, it is time for us to delve into Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Massive theme tune, fireworks.
Okay.
You know, people chucking grenades of excitement. There we are. Here we go. It's this does hark back to the last episode where I took the piss out of you for saying that if Secret Invasion had Spider-Man, it would have been the best thing in the world. Spider-Man. Already preluded your excitement for this week's podcast, mate.
I mean, how can you not get excited for this movie, man? It is so good.
I'm gonna go straight in because I remember when we did Spider-Man Far From Home was the last one, right? Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. Yeah. So when we covered, I don't know if you remember, when we did Far From Home, I basically said that I'd never watched. I thought I'd seen it and had never seen that movie. I never saw Mysterio. Right? I don't know if you can remember.
Yeah.
So when this film opens with Mysterio revealing Peter Parker, right? I was like, what happened there? Because when we saw it in the cinemas, I can't remember thinking to myself, Christ, when did I didn't catch that. So I don't know. I must have just thought when we saw this in the cinema that opening just came in a vacuum.
Because it's literally the opening of just something, from nothing.
And I'm like, what must have went into my brain that thought that, oh, well, we've just skipped a few years and Mysterio's rocked up and he's randomly called out Peter Parker. I don't know what happened there. That's a very, I watched this back going, how could I not have realised I missed an entire fucking film?
You never questioned it either. Like, hang on, who's that guy?
Yeah, this great start. This really, it gets right into the heart of the action. We met a character that we're never going to meet again in this film. That, for me, is top-notch cinema.
Wow. I mean, talk about a movie where you really do need to see the second one before you go into the third one. That's definitely it, right?
Yeah,
wow. I mean that's impressive, mate.
Arguably only for the first 20 minutes of this film. I think after the first 20 minutes, it kind of goes its own way. Where actually, if you haven't watched older Spider-Man films, then you're fucked.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually, If
you've never seen Tobey Maguire,
there's a comment I've made in my notes about those legacy characters that we're now calling them, in terms of how they're brought in terms of all the exposition of, oh yeah, this happened to my character, or this happened to me in my stories, and bringing it into the movie. But anyway, before we go into anything, mate, this is a movie, which means we need to do ourselves a cheeky little synopsis.
Oh, here we go. Kickstart.
Honestly, this has way more of a format now, doesn't it? Do you know, it's crazy. The fact that we have the TV shows, the wildcard movies, but the films that we do has a beautiful little format. So let's do it. Chuck us in with a synopsis. Here we go.
For the first time in the cinematic history of Spider-Man, our friendly neighbourhood hero's identity is revealed, bringing his superhero responsibilities into conflict with his normal life and putting those he cares about most at risk. When he enlists Doctor Strange's help to restore his secret, the spell tears a hole in their world, releasing the most powerful villains who have ever fought a Spider-Man in any universe. Now, Peter will have to overcome his greatest challenge yet, which will not only forever alter his own future, but the future of the multiverse.
Ooh, that little last multiverse that you brought out there. I can't get down that low. Multiverse.
The multiverse.
Do it again.
The multiverse.
Oh, come on. Somebody needs to get this guy on an advert. He needs to be in a trailer.
Stop it. Yeah, I've got a face for radio. Look at me go. I've got a face for voiceovers.
You're going to make lots of money, mate. All for not showing your face.
Put that fucking away. That's it. That's what we need. That's a hell of a meaty synopsis, though, right?
Crikey, mate. That was War and Peace.
That kind of and what makes me sad about that synopsis is it tells you everything.
Yeah.
No one
literally
can read that synopsis and go, oh, I wonder whether they've brought back characters. I wonder whether there might be another Peter Parker. No, that is going to tell you everything, whether you've asked for it or not.
I feel like it had to, because it's one of those movies where it's the pinnacle, it's the climactic movie of the third, in the origin trilogy of Spider-Man. It needs all of that, description and synopsis, so we can understand fully what's going on. Because, mate, this is the other thing. It does pack a punch. There is a lot going on in this movie.
What about after being unmasked as the Spider-Man, Doctor Strange and Spider-Man unknowingly open the multiverse? What about that?
Oh, and that's a nice little tagline.
If you literally just put that into your tagline / whatever synopsis, whatever you want to call it, that for me is like multiverse. What does that mean? What's that bring?
Mate, come on. Look, I know everyone's on strike at the moment, but chuck your CV in. Go on, I dare you. Actually,
Kev,
if there is a time to chuck a CV in, now is the time. While everyone's on strike, I'll come and I'll do the writing. Yeah, I'll do the voiceovers. I'll be in it.
You know what? I don't really care about this AI. I've got, you use my face for a perpetual, just eternal life. Use it. Use this. Use my face. Fucking use it.
It could be a case of, look, I know you don't like my face. I know I ain't got a right face, but I've got a good voice. So just chuck Leonardo DiCaprio over the front of it. I'm fine with it, mate.
Yeah, no problem. What, £5 every time it gets shown? Yeah, no problem at all. I'm happy with that. That's all right. I paid for a pint down road with Paolo, wasn't it? Me and Paolo get a pint. Don't know why my friend's called Paolo. No. It's a lovely name. Anyway, we digress. So Spider-Man, here we are, mate. This is what a film.
Overview thoughts. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, go on then. Overview thoughts. Thoroughly enjoyable. I think, if anything, and I came into it cautiously. If anything, watching it, this is only the second time. I haven't done a Matt and watched it 500 times because it's Spider-Man. But no, it's the second. Good time. And genuinely, I was a little bit like, oh, am I going to rewatch this? And it's going to be like, oh, this isn't as good as I thought in the cinema. If anything, it was better. Not once did I look at the running time and think, Christ, this is going on. It was enjoyable. It was exciting. It was funny. I have issues with Act 1. Act 2, Act 3, loved it. First part of the film, I struggled with, but we will talk about that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, general observation, absolutely loved it. One of the best MCU movies for sure.
I think so. In terms of my views with this movie, this is, alongside Guardians 3, it's got to be one of the best fan service movies that I've seen in a long time. In terms of bringing back legacy characters, legacy villains as well, the link up between Sony and Disney in this movie. Even the Easter eggs, even the little cameos when you've got Venom in the mid-credit sequences, the thread of intertwining all these separate stories and coming in. Yes, some of these aren't fully integral, but what was great about this is that they managed to make these legacy characters really important to the main thread of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in developing his origin. That is what I think John Watts has done an incredible journey and done an incredible job at. It's creating this narrative as an origin trilogy, something we haven't seen before. Origin movies, you get one origin and then boom, you get a trilogy, and the next thing you've got Old Man Spider-Man. I don't know, time passes in trilogies quite a lot, but with this one, it's very succinct. It's moment after moment. We start immediately after the second one. There's no kind of like gaps in timelines for us to think about what's happened. We're straight in with the character that we love and have learnt to love, and it just grows. And I cannot compliment a movie like this anymore. But there are certain small things, very tiny things for me, but there were slight glitches, let's say, in the film, but there weren't gripes. I have almost no gripes for this movie, but yeah, I loved it. Can't wait to talk more in a minute.
Oh, fantastic.
Shall we talk about story? We need to talk about story.
Let's talk about... I don't know why this episode is the episode with all the voice here. Let's talk about story, shall we?
Let's talk about story. Look at some.
That's what... I tell you what, you're encouraging people to watch YouTube, and I admire that about you.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Yeah.
Only people on YouTube are going to know what I'm doing right now. Only people on YouTube are going to know what I'm doing. Hey, well, hello, little private, little fucking show for you coming up.
It was like, what was really what I loved about that is that it was kind of like non-committal, but that you just followed through with it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. I think it was my own mind was trying to work out what that was, and then it got grander. Was
it a tap? Was it a stroke? I don't know. Now you really you need to watch now, dear listener. That's tantalising content.
Oh, fantastic. Story.
Oh, God.
Story is story's a good place to start. That is the reason the first bit of the movie doesn't work for me within the story, and I'll give you a couple of things. Right, so there's two things. One, I don't feel that there is reason enough for Peter to speak to Strange at the point that he speaks to him. At the very beginning of the movie, Peter, we know Spider-Man is Peter Parker. At that moment, Peter's reaction would be more than fair for him to then go, shit, this is giving me the type of exposure I'm not keen on. I need to go and speak to the likes of Doctor Strange to see whether there's anything we can put in motion, right? Whereas in the film, he there's scene with MJ, Ned, and Peter, where they basically it's to do with college, right? They don't get into college, and Peter's worried that it's affecting them. Now, what I suppose you could argue makes sense for the broader film, but what doesn't make sense for me is that the character of Peter Parker would be going to Doctor Strange purely coming out of that scene. You've got the whole world knows who you are. There's helicopters everywhere. Shit's happening all over the place.
Yeah.
Not getting into college is not the reason you'd go and find Doctor Strange. That for me is bizarre. You'd have gone much sooner than that.
But that's what Doctor Strange comments on, doesn't it? He goes, "Wait, you didn't even go and ask. You didn't even go and double check to see that you can go through the system." Again, like he goes, "Why have you come to me to literally make a spell and change your whole life? Why?"
But that gag
in options
in itself, that gag doesn't work though, because Doctor Strange is aware. Everybody knows Peter Parker Spider-Man, and this is a young whether because he makes a comment about you've got to embrace your superhero. Like, people know who the superhero is, right? They know who Doctor Strange is as the person, right? But this is a young lad, of which, and Spider-Man's getting a lot of heat. He also doesn't have his parental Iron Man anymore. So I can't understand why Doctor Strange would have rolled with it for the pure thing of, this is a young lad in front of him who's just lost that parental superhero figure that would provide him guidance. So the college thing just seemed like a bit of a trivial, almost humorous means of a broader thing. It didn't. Yeah. Anyway, so that's number one. My main thing.
Can I make a counter comment on that?
Hit me with a counter comment, mate.
So, because this is the origin, you dick! I put my hat back on. Oh no! Right, Forrest. Now listen. All right. My counterpoint to Spider-Man is, quite simply, is that we are still in the origin phases of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. We've got to remember he's still a high school student. He is making rash decisions. Not a couple of moments, I would say, not even that long, of a year and a bit ago. He just saved the world from Thanos. He's riding on the coattails of being an Avenger. That's a big deal to him. He's riding on lots of confidence. And he goes, well, look, this is a bit of a mess. I know what I can do. I can talk to my friend Doctor Strange, and he's going to change everything because he's a wizard. He's not thinking laterally. He's not thinking realistically, and he's not, thinking about the implications, because that's what teenagers do, right?
Yeah, but that's not. I agree with all of that. What I don't agree with is that the college incident would have been the thing to have made him go to Doctor Strange. Everything
but it means a lot
before that. To him. Yeah, but the attention he was getting as Spider-Man, and the effect on, if you look at the effect on Aunt May, for instance, and the house being constant surveillance, all of that, surely that would have been the trigger, not, Ned and MJ didn't get into college.
Yeah, I think so. The argument you're making is that it wasn't high enough stakes for him to go to Doctor Strange.
At that moment, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was a weird stake to make him then go, oh, this is the moving part for me.
Maybe what they could have done, again, they probably didn't have time for it, but what they probably could have done is hyped up MIT a little bit more, or hyped up the notion of college.
And maybe MJ and Ned's future. Do you know, what were they going to lose from not going to that college? What were they promised? What was a promised future for them that meant that Pete and a scene maybe with them both where Spider-Man goes, look, like, this is affecting your futures far too much. Like, there was none of that. He just went straight to Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and all happened there. But anyway, that's my thought.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of anything that moves forward in the plot, we then meet Doctor Strange, and I think in terms of, and this is the other thing, this might be controversial. I don't know. It might not be. I wonder if there's any dear listeners out there that have the same thoughts. But in this movie, Doctor Strange comes off as a bit of a dick in this movie, like a proper narcissist. Like, do you get that, or is it just me?
I do get that, but I also got that from the film, though. I got that from his film.
I mean, I really maybe I just don't recognise it that much more. I mean, this is the thing. I really enjoyed his performance in Multiverse of Madness, which I think is a controversial comment because I think a lot of people didn't like it. But I think just the way he comes off in this is like, oh yeah, I've just saved the world. Oh, you want me to do this really dangerous spell just because of getting into college? Yeah, of course I'll do it. Because he really could have just said, no, mate, I'm not going to help you. No, what? No. Go and sort yourself out. You know, that's a ridiculous question. Which you think Iron Man probably would have done if he went to Tony if he was still alive. But it just comes across this kind of like, oh, and as well he blames Spider-Man, Peter Parker, that it's his fault that the spell went wrong. He's like, oh, you disrupted me. You've got to fix this. You've got to Scooby-Doo this shit. And I do like that. You know, MJ calls him out on that, but like, there's this lack of accountability that Doctor Strange has, and also this kind of sheer arrogance that he can do absolutely anything. And then all of a sudden he opens up all these flipping portals in the multiverse. Like, he has to undo quite a lot of his own mistakes in this movie, which doesn't really get explored that much.
No. And the guy could have just stopped the spell, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
he didn't
right?
He didn't have to listen to Peter, keep changing the spell, but then progress with it anyway. He could just stopped it there and gone, look, you're changing it too much. Come back when you've sorted your mind out. Like,
it's weird, isn't it? It's a bit weird. So there's a little Easter egg. I'm sure everybody knows this, but like in terms of when the first entrance of Doctor Strange is, and he sort of flies down with his mug of coffee. I can't remember what it says. Something Fox. He slips on the ice. And that was kept in. He actually slips. That was a genuine moment where he just kind of like loses his balance, and they kept that in. Just a little Easter egg there.
Oh, nice. The Slippy McStrangey.
Slippy McStrangey. But the first act for me, as much as you were commenting on and criticising a little bit there in terms of not criticising, critically talking about the story and the narrative. It comes in, mate, with such high stakes. It really does. Like, it packs.
It goes into it very. It's got a lot of pace. This film, right, which I think can be its main advantage, but equally one of its issues as well. And I say that from the villains. Did you think the first time we meet all the villains is done well in this film? Just a question.
They have to introduce a lot in a short amount of time. So, how do you do that cleverly, and how you do that sufficiently to reintroduce characters, but also provide a nostalgia? So you're showing new aspects, but also giving nostalgia for certain audiences that know these characters. It's a really tricky game. I think the way that they introduced Dr. Octavius was really, really good. I think the sequence was great. What would have been nice was that a little bit earlier the Goblin came in. That's for the uncut version. There you go. Clip that. It would have been nice to have him in the fight sequence, maybe just for a little bit before he got kind of whisked into the portal by Doctor Strange. I think the lizard, even the name of the lizard, who's played by he's a really good actor, Reese. Reese, I need to look. Hang on. Reese is it Fans?
I'm trying to desperately look it up. It's always so hard to find these things when you're looking for them.
He's such a good actor. Anyway, the lizard. What is the lizard's name?
Oh my god, Mr. Oh, jeez. I mean, that's the other thing. Oh, Reese Ifans.
Ifans.
He's the guy from Notting Hill, isn't he? Basically.
Yeah,
He's the legend
yeah.
from Reese Ifans, I think. Yes. You've got... Yeah, because who have you got? You've got Dr. Otto. You got Norman.
Dr. Connors, but it is Lizard. It is just Lizard. Okay, I'm not wrong.
Yeah. Right. So you got Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, the Lizard, and Sandman.
I think Sandman's entrance was quite nice in terms of coming in. He immediately starts from where he left off in terms of relationship he has with Spider-Man. He's not a villain. He just is a little bit confused and a little bit morally sort of undecisive, I think. But in terms of the Electro as well, introduction, I thought was really good. It was really nice to see Jamie Foxx as well to play in a role that was way more freer as well. Like, you can quite clearly see that he was enjoying himself compared to maybe what you saw him do in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, it's just restrictive. There was a lot of kind of like comic booky kind of restriction, Sony restriction, I want to say, controversially. But this was nice to see. Yeah, a new fresh face, a new fresh kind of look, more comic book accurate as well. Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know Mr. Lizard. I'm not sure. How did the lizard become the lizard? Was that a science thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because do you know what I've just clicked, because you said about not being like a real villain. None of these villains are real villains. If you think about it carefully, all of them are only in the position they're in because of failed science tests, or Electro, had the accident that he had. None of them are a villain because of their own Well, no, they are exactly that. They're a villain of their own making rather than their actual persona or personality.
Yeah, I think that's done deliberately. I think personally, I feel like in terms of the fact that these are characters that could be changed quite quickly in terms of what they stand for, their morals, and obviously that's what Tom Holland's Peter Parker believes in. That's why he goes into that second act of the movie to go, no, look, I'm going to cure you, and everything will be fine. I believe you can do good things. All of those characters are capable of doing so. They get corrupted by either a failed experiment, and then they blame somebody else through aggression and anger. And they kind of all very much have the same path, I think, in terms of that. And that's what I really enjoy, I think. And as well, if you were to have played that against other Spider-Men, they may have reacted differently to those characters. But it was nice to see that our Spider-Man in the MCU has all of that humility and hopefulness. But and yeah, I think it works. In terms of the inclusion of Ned, can I just quickly talk about Ned?
Mm-hmm.
In the first act of the movie, we see Ned very much third wheeling in the relationship, and it kind of teases, doesn't it, in a way, the the kind of villain story, doesn't it? It gives it kind of a potential of there's rumours out there that Ned could have become the Hobgoblin in this movie.
Okay.
And sided with Green Lantern, so a kind of like magical kind of version of Green Goblin. Which they didn't lean into, which I think was a good idea, because it's quite nice to sort of like go against the grain of the best friend becoming the villain, which is very much what between both the other Peter Parkers experience. And I think it's quite nice to see how Ned's character actually does develop really nicely. And I don't know about you, mate, but I feel like that there's an opportunity to develop Ned's character even further. I would love to see him in Kamatage. I'd love to see him train to be a part of the collective with Doctor Strange and Wong.
Yeah, no, 100%. I really thought, and I think that's my broader thoughts of the film, actually, that the supporting cast for this were amazing. I actually think, in the big scene where we get Tobey Maguire and we get Andrew Garfield, we what am I trying to say? MJ and Ned. That, for me, is one of the strongest scenes in it. Yeah, I think that scene is amazing. They acted so well It was
Yeah,
massive fan service scene, and it was amazing. And while I mention the word fan service, this is one thing. So whilst I was watching it back, I was like, so when we put something up on Instagram, which was like, describe the film in one word, I think. And you get a lot of comments about this film, about, seen as a negative, that, it's fan service. The fact that you get a lot of villains or old villains of past, and you get Spider-Man from the past as well. And fan service is seen as a negative. Now, I do not understand quite why that is a negative thing. If it is being done well, what is the matter with having fan service? Fan service draws fans to a film, which will encourage future films to be made. It will encourage the very thing that you're enjoying, to be made more so, right? So naturally, by putting fan service in, it gets the attention, right, that it needs.
I mean, I completely agree with that. I think in terms of like what might be the counter argument to that is the fact that the writers are being forced to pander to an audience that would then potentially hinder an original narrative that might have more layers, more depth, and more screen time for their protagonists and antagonists to sort of like play through. Because you can make the argument in this movie that too much screen time is taken away from these legacy characters, and not enough time in development of our actual, even our secondary characters with Ned and MJ, their development of their roles, and particularly with Peter Parker's development. But if that is the thought, whatever. But I don't think that that's hindered at all in this movie.
And also, it's been done on the third film of the trilogy, even though we know Spider-Man 4 is happening. If you look at it within a trilogy, they've done that at the end of the trilogy. We Spider-Man Far From Home, it was massively MJ and Ned. There was like so much character arc for them. So, they've given enough time to those characters to allow this film to then go, well, actually, we're going to put the spotlight on some legacy-driven characters to come in.
Yeah, I think in terms of like certain particular moments as well, in terms of legacy characters, it was really nice to see Daredevil come in for their scene.
Yep.
What's nice is that Jon Favreau obviously played Foggy in the Ben Affleck version. But, oh God, I want to say, was it 2003? It might have been 2001. It might have been even earlier. But so seeing Foggy and our now new Matt Murdock be played together and seeing their scene together. And there was also a deleted scene. I watched the deleted scenes earlier today with the hearing with Happy and Daredevil, and that got cut, unfortunately. But it's just nice, I think, in terms of, again, just a little Easter egg there from not only seeing Daredevil, but also seeing Jon Favreau in a potential Easter egg there of him also playing Foggy in the past.
Oh, cool. A lovely little Easter egg there, mate.
Yeah.
So we end up with the villains. We end up. So how did you feel about the entry of both Spider-Mans of old?
Oh my God! I mean, the Andrew Garfield. I'll tell you a little story. When we watched it together on our very first film club movie, which was this one, I remember when the portal was opened and I was at the back there. I saw the larger eyes that the Amazing Spider-Man has, like, immediately, and I knew right then, this is the moment. He's actually in it. And seeing him come out of that portal and taking off his mask was just brilliant. It was so good. It was such a moment. But my question to you, Forrest, is he's still got anonymity. Why did he take his mask off so quickly? Wouldn't he have kept it on?
Yeah, he's appeared in a universe where Peter Parker has been revealed, though.
Yeah.
So
maybe like, I don't know. Does it not matter to him?
All Peter Parkers.
Maybe. And the fact, well, I don't know. I think there's a bit of a plot hole. I think it's a bit of a plot hole.
They're all Peter Parker. So
yeah.
So naturally, if Spider-Man's been revealed as Peter Parker, is that not applied to every Peter Parker that comes into that is also a Spider-Man?
Maybe.
But I'm intrigued by that, because absolutely, why remove? You know what I mean? Because they.
But it was a cool moment.
Oh, it was epic. What I found really interesting is that they Ned has a line which kind of gives it away, right? Once you've already seen it the first time, because he says, because he unlocks the portal, and then he says something like, it's Spider-Man, or he says Spider-Man and I'm like, that's his best mate Peter. Why is he saying Spider-Man? You know, the fact that he says that's Spider-Man, and that's, you know, it was the way the sentence was. I wish I'd have jotted it down specifically. Just really gave it away, because I was like, that's your best mate Peter. You'd just be like going, "Oh, Peter, we're here," like, and because they couldn't do that. Because if they did that and they went and it was like, "Oh, Peter, we're here," Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker would have looked at them and gone, "I don't know who you are, you know, I'm getting away." So it was an interesting thing there that I found out. Really, they had to give it away.
I mean, it got the pop that it needed, didn't it? I mean, in terms of the crowd reaction, it was absolutely perfect. I think in terms of Tobey Maguire as well, I think just realising the aging for Tobey Maguire was like, oh my gosh, time has gone. But he looked great. I was saying to Rachel, I was like, I feel like he looked better in his Spider-Man suit than he did when he was actually doing the movies.
Yeah.
In this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've just had a look at my notes, and what I just said was complete and utter bullshit. Apparently it's the opposite. So as he's doing the portal, I think Ned says, "I wish we could see Peter." So I wish we could see Peter, or I wish we could see Spider-Man. And it's like, okay. Yeah, and then you're like, okay, well, which Spider-Man? I don't know. One of the moments.
So
it was
interesting.
Specify. It was a great moment.
Okay. It was an interesting moment. Well, we learn a little bit more about Ned's potential spark powers, and that he's got this, he's got the magic. I wondered whether they could have played into it a little bit more. Maybe we would have got a little bit more with was it Nan? Is it Lola? Lulu?
Lola. I want to say
it's Lola. It would have been nice to have got a little bit more, I think, there. I'm just really intrigued of what Ned's going to happen next, mate. I want to see more.
Yeah, and I felt like there was a little bit deleted from that. Do you know what I mean? By the sense that she kind of came in and had like quite a big part, but was never really introduced.
Yeah,
Lola. It's definitely Lola. Yeah. So yeah, it was an odd. But I was like, have they just deleted a bit there within it, like an introduction? Never felt like a proper introduction. But she was awesome.
It was great. It was really funny moments. I think the cobweb moment was really good. But I think in terms of that bit, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was talking about kind of he had a sense that he needed his help, which is interesting because it might lean into the fact that maybe there is this kind of like Spidey sense connection between them, and it's not really, it wasn't really explicitly said, but like I like the idea that if that is the case, that Peter Tingles meet in some way where they're able to communicate to each other as a way of telekinesis. That, like, I don't know, as a superhero kind of like development power, we talk about Loki getting a new power of time jumping, could Spider-Man's powers develop as much as like even Miles Morales' powers develop really quickly in his origin stories. So it's like what could come next from that. I'd be really intrigued to see maybe in Spider-Man 4, whether we introduce, Gwen, Stacy, or Miles Morales with Tom Holland Spider-Man, or even bring back these legacy characters. How can things develop for their skills, their skill set and power set as well? That'd be cool to see. But I think this all happens as well soon after. We can't not talk about it. Aunt May's death.
I know, mate.
It just kills me.
It kills. It kills me, and the actual scene of the bit where she dies is tragic. But leading up to that, this time, because I knew that was the result, I didn't half think for about 5 minutes. Why are you not just getting out of the building? She's like purposely.
She's protecting her,
man. If you watch it, she's like every opportunity she's by the door, like, oh, am I going to go out? And it's so obvious now. You rewatch it, and if you just watch her, right, ignore everything else going on around the building. You're like, what are you doing? She's just like, oh, here's a door. Oh, I'm just going to stand here and observe for a ridiculously long period of time. Oh, all this destruction. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just going to get in the way of the door with a thing. She has about 4 opportunities to just fucking leg it. And I'm like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Do you know what? Mate? When I'm being attacked by Green Goblin, okay, because when I inevitably become Spider-Man, you're out, mate.
I'm so fucking out there, mate. It's unbelievable. I will leave you to it, my friend. And I won't ask you about it next day because you'll be demolished. But I'll say something nice at the funeral instead, mate. Also, we're the Don't Be a Hero podcast. I'm not doing jack shit, mate.
Can you imagine if we're in the background? Fuck it up, Forrest. We gotta go. Run. Don't be a hero. Run.
It was a fantastic man. In his final few hours, I can't say I remember it well. I remember the front door opening at quite a speed, and I saw a lot of commotion outside. It was quite a cold evening actually outside. But he died basically. Yeah, and I don't know, really rough by the sound of it, really bad. But I'm all right. I'm great.
Oh my god!
But it's amazing, and I love the fact they got the with great power comes great responsibility in there. Became a kind of theme throughout for the rest of the film. I loved it. I loved it in the most dramatic, upsetting fashion you can. But it was, and the acting as well. Just the whole the couple of scenes after it, just really upsetting stuff. Brilliantly handled.
Yeah, I mean it was I mean, I think in terms of the delivery for Tom Holland as well, and that bit was absolutely stunning. And it drove his character forward. The fact that when he meets his counterparts from Spider-Man, and he goes, I want to kill him. Like, I believed him. Like, he's like, I want to tear him apart. And I'm like, poor kid. Like, I genuinely felt the anger that he was feeling, and that's such a good scene as well, because if you've watched all these movies, you know exactly that Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker and Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker have equally in that moment felt that feeling. So there was this kind of moment of harking back to that moment, feeling that feeling again, but also they are beyond that moment, or maybe even not. There's not. What I love about Andrew Garfield's character in that bit is that you can't see that there's resolution with the loss of Gwen Stacy, and he's still reeling from it in his own way, and it might be through aggression and it might be through anger still, but like with Tobey Maguire, he's quite clearly found more stability. He had a relationship with MJ. We don't know whether he's got a family. It's kind of implied a little bit, but there's this different perspectives that then that Tom Holland Spider-Man then learns from very quickly to go, actually that's not the way to go. But then it's great motive,
and also it's I think what it did really well, because you can argue that Tom Holland's his age in real life is maybe affecting Spider-Man in the sense that he looks like an old, he looks 25 25 years old. He looks too old for a guy who's going to college, for sure. And I think seeing him with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, I thought was brilliant, because actually it made him look a little younger. It played him down a bit. And you could see like the ages of the other two, and I really, really loved their scenes together. I thought they did a fantastic job of writing the scripts for those scenes together. I thought that was great.
And then it gets to the planning bit, doesn't it? In terms of they're in the labs, they have these lovely little quirky like scenes to do the Peter pointing moment, which Peter, me, Peter, you, Peter, you know. And you see a lovely little bit of development as well with Ned and MJ. Ned questioning, going, God, am I going to be turned into a villain? Am I going to kill you? Really lovely light moment before then the next action sequence, which then is the final act of the movie, with at the Statue of Liberty, which they're changing the Statue of Liberty to the Captain America shield, which I think is a bit of a... That wasn't spoken about enough. That's quite a statement, isn't it? Changing the shield.
Yes,
I don't know.
I'd say so. Yeah. So it wasn't pointed out, was it?
But when I had that thought, I equally then had the thought, well, to be perfectly honest, there is currently a celestial on this planet with its hands sticking out of the Earth, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah, this is true, and absolutely true. And I love that action scene. I love I don't know if you remember that action scene prior to the film being released. They put some footage in a trailer. Do you remember? And it only had Tom Holland as Spider-Man in it. But fans, you could tell there was all this space in the rest of the photo, and literally people were putting in the other two Spider-Man, and it was
so
brilliant.
Clever, aren't they? The fans are so clever.
It was outrageous. All of the stories that came out before this film was released, people were all over it. That trailer was picked apart. I think there was another one where it might have been when Dr. Otto looks at him and goes, "You're not Peter." I think they do put that in the very last trailer before it got released. I think they did put that in there. But there was another bit where they showed like over the shoulder of Spider-Man, and people were like, "Yeah, that's definitely not Tom Holland's." It was great. It was awesome. But this action scene was mad. Was really good. I liked that they gave MJ and Ned a little bit. They didn't go too far on that. Make it unrealistic that they'd genuinely survive all of that anarchy. But they were in it just enough. It was really good. And then we get a heartbreaking little as this sunrise. I was going to say sunset. As the sun rises, and we get that lovely little bit
with the friends at the end. I think. Do you know what? It's really interesting. You mentioned the sunrise. When that happened, I was like, Jesus Christ! The sun rose really quickly there. Or did this fight sequence go on for about 2 hours? Like what?
Yeah,
what's that?
Well, and because even when you're watching it, the fight's finished and it's still quite dark, and then suddenly Spider-Man lands on the thing, and
it's daylight.
Yeah, boom, straight to day. Yeah, it's like they've all just been sat there. Green Goblin's been taking the piss out of them, and they've just been sat there going, "Oh, what should we do? Oh, what should we do, guys? What should we do?" And then, it's like, cool, I'm getting tired now. Come on, Peter, let's finish this off, please. Yeah, it was very odd.
There's a moment where, at the end, before everybody disappears, Doctor Strange fixing things, there's a moment with Electro and Dr. Octavius standing next to each other. And I was like, have they just been standing there the whole time watching Peter Parker and the Green Goblin kick the shit into each other, while Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are just kind of like standing around also just watching? They're just kind of spectating this massive fight. And then Tobey then comes in, stops the shield, the thing going into his chest as well. Like, it's really interesting. I'd love to see those little deleted scenes be played out.
Yeah. So, all right, should we get involved, Andrew? Not for that. No. You give it. Just wait. Let's see how it plays out. Huh? He's gonna kill him. Well, we'll see how it...
Andrew Garfield's holding the cure. He's like, do I throw it now? Now? No. No? 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 Like,
yeah. It was bad, but it had to have it for the emotional gravitas that it came with.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. It was fantastic, and then because at that point, I don't know about you, but I thought that would be it. At that point, when we saw it in the cinema, I was like, that's what a brilliant film, what a fantastic. But no, you literally, as if your heart's not pulled enough out of its socket. Strange comes down. This multiverse splinters across the sky, and then Peter has to do the big thing.
Do some stuff. That's it. I mean, in terms of my final thoughts in terms of that last sequence, I think it was done really well. And again, what works with a fight sequence in a climactic moment is to have it in one location, and particularly have it in a well-known location as well. All right. I think you think about all the classic movies out there, but like, if you have it in one location that's really well known to the world, there's lots to play with. And the fact that they had the scaffolding, it became a really nice way of animating fight sequences, and the action as well. Yeah, the moment with MJ falling, God, and Andrew Garfield getting that moment of redemption when he catches her, and that moment where she goes, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he's like in the verge of tears. It's gorgeous. Like, all those moments are really great, and they play in nostalgia really well. And then what I kind of love is Doctor Strange just turning up again, being like the pissed off dad. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what have you done? Why? No, stop that. No, why are they all not? Why are you curing them? Like, And Ned's like, no, please don't be angry, Dad. He's curing everyone, please.
Guys, it's not sorted. Look at the clouds above. The rips are everywhere. You're gonna have to make everybody forget you ever exist, mate.
Literally.
And then he does just that, and he tells MJ and Ned, don't worry, I'll come back, I'll find you, I'll tell you everything, I'll let you know who I am. And it don't go to plan, Matt, mate. Heartbreaking stuff.
So then he decides to instead, you forget?
Hello.
Oh, hello.
You
muted my mic.
I muted the wrong mic. I meant to mute myself, and I was going to do it. Completely undercover. No one would have worked it out. But no, I literally muted your own mic, mate.
Everyone saw that. Cheers, Dan. Cheers, though. Shall I carry on?
Yeah, say it again, mate. Yeah.
Sorry, do you need to burp?
No. It's the cat scratching at the door, so I don't want the cat.
Ah, right. Okay, sorry. Now I might just not talk and watch you the whole time while you're on mute. Anyway, so we see. I've forgotten what I was going to say now. No, I do remember.
Mate. It's the Ned and MJ
Yeah. So the last final moments, I think it's with him deciding that no, can everybody forget that Peter Parker exists instead of Spider-Man. So he kind of reverses what he says earlier in the beginning of the movie. Now, there's controversy in terms of the reaction of that. It's very sad. Of course, it's very sad. And like had that final moment with MJ where he decides, actually, no, I'm not going to tell you. The goodbyes as well beforehand is really sad. But like, I just get kind of like, mate, you build a rod for your own back there. And also, there is some serious plot holes within that. Like, there's no specificity on, is it just on Earth? Or is it people that are off planet do actually remember Peter Parker as Spider-Man? Because we could then say Nick Fury hasn't forgotten. We could argue that Thor hasn't forgotten. Like, is that part of the plan? Is that the reason why they've decided that? Or is that a genuine kind of like, oh shit, we didn't specify exactly how many. Is it universal, or is it multiversal, or is it just on this planet? Which I think it is just on this planet. Dear listener, if you know that there is any kind of like confirmation on that, you do let us know. Oh, poor Peggy. I hear you, Peggy.
Can you hear Peggy?
What's she saying?
She's like, let me in.
Don't worry, mate.
I've not seen you for 58 minutes. I can't control myself. Let me in, for God's sake, for us. What's your plan here? Just love me. All right, Peggy, I'll be out there in a minute, mate. Silence.
I was waiting for a reply. No, she got the message. She got the message. But yeah, I think and it all finishes. We see then we have the little diner scene. He decides actually no, my friends seem to be really content. There is that kind of moment. You see the kind of again, it might be a direction thing from John Watts, but you see this moment of attraction between both of them. That maybe she kind of like almost like goes, "Oh, I kind of know you. I feel like I know that face." But it was very subtle. Whether that was deliberate or not, I don't know. But I really love the idea of Spider-Man keeping that anonymity now, and like he's now no longer an origin. He is a fully fledged Spider-Man. He's out there doing his bit, and he's not just in Queens now. He's in New York. He's in New York, right?
New York.
So we see that lovely sequence in his new suit and stuff, and his new apartment, which is actually quite. The apartment looks very accurate to what the Insomniac game. Apartment is as well, which is quite cool. I don't know whether that was deliberate or not, but and then it finishes, and then we go. Then we get a trailer for Multiverse of Madness, which is a bit of a cop out, I think.
Before that, we get Venom.
We do.
We get Venom from mid-credit, which is again.
He should have been part of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I would have preferred to have as a mid-credit scene. Peter Parker, or this Peter Parker, Tom Holland, bumping into Miles. That's what I'd have wanted. I would have wanted him to bump into Miles.
We've got that bit of the symbiote that's now been left on the planet, so I don't know whether that's going to play part into the fourth one or not. But
kind of felt that was done in a way where it's like we want to have the option, but we're not really sure that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
It was very half-assed, wasn't it? And I feel like I really wanted Miles in this. He was alluded to. He was alluded by Electro, weren't he? Jamie Foxx mentions, why is there not a black Spider-Man? And I really wish we had Miles Morales turn up in the mid-credit scene. And then, the trailer, oh my God. You know, the trailer and the end credit scene just reminded me when they did the same shit with Captain America. And I went absolutely mental about it. Furiates me.
Yeah, I mean... I think it's got that potential. I don't know whether I don't listen where you got that, but like when we watched that and that was the last thing that we saw, I did leave going, oh come on, really?
Yeah.
Going complete. I mean, I can watch that later. I don't need that right now. Give me some new content. But anyway, they could have left out the Venom bit. But yeah. Anyway, what are you gonna give it? Well, I realise we're not doing. Is this a thing? We're not doing tomato meter anymore as well because of the news that's broke about the Rotten Tomatoes being apparently the reviewers being paid off to put in good reviews.
Disgusting.
It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. We're denouncing. We're denouncing it. Are we not? I don't know.
Well, we can go to IMDb. I'm a friend in IMDb. I prefer them. Right. So we'll do like a rating, the IMDb rating, Internet Movie Database. And their rating, 830,000 reviews, and the rating is 8.2. That is very high for IMDb.
That's not bad. Is it?
8.2. 8.2 and worthy. I would probably give this a 9, to be honest.
Yep. Same.
9 territory for me.
Give it 9.
I think
thick pack of Watsits, I'd say. Big sharing pack of Watsits.
Big sharing pack of what? This for me is a big old sharing pack of onion rings. Onion rings is my go-to. I love an onion ring, mate.
Fair play.
Not the cooked variety for anyone across the globe, but you can get a lovely crisp cold variant of an onion ring, and it honestly it's a very nice snack. Very delicious. Defense against the dark arts. Defense against the onion ring.
Anyway,
where have
Forrest.
you been? Yeah.
You're right, mate. You're right.
Whenever Harry Potter's mentioned, you had the obligatory "Where have you been?" Has to be.
Have real bad. Speaking of which, I wonder whether there'll be any Harry Potter cosplay at MCM Comic Con.
Smooth operator, smooth
Thank you very
operator. We asked our wonderful fans, didn't we, about cosplay
We
suggestions?
did. We really did. Now we got now as you if you're living under a rock, you should know by now. But we are going to be at MCM Comic Con in the Creators Pavilion across the weekend from the 27th of October to the 29th, Friday to Sunday. And what we did in last week's episode and in a reel on Instagram, we asked you, dear followers, what should we wear for a cosplay on one particular day? Now, we got flipping tons of suggestions.
Loads of suggestions. And fucking amazing. Just genuinely great suggestions.
There are some absolute bangers. And to be honest, this needs some food for thought. We'll say a few, but I think what will happen is that me and Forrest will take these in, and maybe, I don't know, do we put it in a roulette? Do we draw it out? Do we do it as a live? I don't know. What do we do? We'll talk about it later. We'll make a decision.
We'll have a think about it, yeah.
But like Charcuterie Trooper, Ariel and Ursula, which I kind of love. We've got Spill the Mead podcast, but definitely Star-Lord and Drax. Follow Spill the Mead podcast. They're a fantastic podcast on folktale history as well. Really awesome. Charcuterie again says Rick and Negan from The Walking Dead.
Oh, mate, love those two. Rick and Negan is a strong contender for me.
That is a great shout. We've got Lights, Camera, Rant with Wonder and Vision. Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Someone is not a fan of Wonder and Vision.
Thea's come in with Sully.
Oh, Sully, that's another one.
Sully.
We're doing Monsters Inc. Sully, shall we?
Not finished. Off we go.
Have you got any more? Do you want to read some out? Before Chaos and Shoes in it?
Oh, yeah, it's all going on now, mate. I can hear it now. Yeah, we had loads. We had absolutely loads. Higgins Bros, the Geek Gossip podcast, Morph and Wolverine from X-Men 92. I love the specificity of that
very
suggestion. Caitlin was the only one. Caitlin, who suggested the people from our cover art.
Yeah, I know. At least somebody suggested it.
Yeah, I was like, no one. They didn't even reply, so that's not a good one to go to. Ross Paul said the Tick and his sidekick Arthur. Cam, hello Cam, said Mandalorian and Grogu, and I should go as Grogu. Brilliant.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Oh my god. Tom, my mate Tom from uni, I can't remember what he said. He said I should do Chewbacca, and I can't remember who. Did he say Han Solo for you? Han Solo and Chewbacca, yeah, Chewbacca. Han and Deadpool and Thor, like your profile art. Yeah, that was Caitlin's. Ren and Stimpy. Some of these I had to look some of these up, mate. I was like,
Too Critical Podcast said Shaun of the Dead. You look like both of them. Which is interesting because we actually said that we should do that ages ago. When it was Culture Invasion last year, we were thinking about doing that.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely got to be. It's got to be on the radar for something. I feel like we could do the whole Cornetto trilogy, me and you, mate.
I think, the thing is, I think we need to do something more superhero-y. That's part of the DNA of the podcast. Not to say that that's not a good shout. But yeah, we need to decide.
We will be doing the Cornetto trilogy 100% as Wildcard. I will quit this pod if we haven't done it. It's happening. And maybe that's what we do. Maybe we do a really long live Cornetto trilogy special where we're dressed up in the characters, you know. We only drink and eat things from the films. We can just go wild with the theme, mate. I love it.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm up for that. I'm well up for that.
I'm game for that, mate.
Well, we'll have to decide how we're going to announce this and how we're going to reveal it, and also purchase the things we need to get for it.
I want to
This
see
is the other
them.
thing. I don't want this to be a pants cosplay. I mean, I don't want to do any disservice to any cosplayer out there. Dear listener, if you're a cosplayer as well, give us any good tips on how to do this on a budget and also fairly soon as well, because it takes months to plan and get a cosplay outfit sorted. So, yeah, we need to act soon. But I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be great.
Yeah. I can't wait. And if you make cosplay and you like us both, give us a shout, mate, and we'll
give you a shout out.
We're happy commission. I mean, it would be good to have a costume we can keep coming back to. So if you make costumes, you fancy making a bespoke set of costumes for your main man Matt and Foz, let us know.
See what you did there. Very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
But no, seriously. Yeah.
That'd be lovely. That'd be like take the hard work out of us.
Yeah.
But we would love it.
Wouldn't say no. Wouldn't say no.
Lovely. It's honestly, mate, it's been an absolute joy tonight, pal. The sun's
I've really
gone
enjoyed
down.
this.
I've got a light on. I've got my slippers on. I feel all cash, mate. I feel all comfy and comfortable in your presence, mate.
Before we finish up, mate, what are we doing next week?
What do we do? Do you actually? I don't actually know. Oh no!
I think it's Moon Knight.
I think it is.
Isn't it?
Is it? Are we not on? We're on Moon Knight, aren't we?
I think it is, because I'm really, if that is the case, I'm very, very excited, because I've been waiting to rewatch it.
Phase 4 still, right? Yeah, we definitely are. So I think you're completely right, mate. I looked this up last time, didn't I?
You did.
So we've done WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Black Soldier, What If, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, Spider-Man No Way Home, and we are next on Moon Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Which I have not seen yet. I saved it for the pod.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for you to watch it for the first time, mate. I've been waiting to watch it for the second time simply because of this, so this is great. Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I tell you what, dear listener, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, I tell you what, give us your thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home in the comments section. Give us all those kind of thoughts. Give your excitements as well in terms of Moon Knight, what's coming next. And again, if you want to keep giving in suggestions for cosplays, do it. Send us some suggestions. Give us some comments. Give us an email at don'tbeaheropodcast@gmail.com. Forrest is desperate for an email from someone, so he's waiting patiently.
I would. Do you know? I'm going to go wild the minute we get an email from someone we don't know or that we're not expecting an email from. Honest to God, I'm going to go wild, mate. Sheer excitement. Don't be a hero podcast@gmail.com. Even if you just say hello, I'll be happy, mate. But yeah, looking forward to it. Can't wait. And talking about emails, actually, you've got something exciting possibly coming soon, haven't we? Which I'm looking forward to.
We have indeed. Yeah, all to be revealed later.
Anything about, but it's exciting.
Yeah, things are moving, mate. Things are moving. All right.
Things are happening. Ciao for now, mate. I'm going to eat my salmon.
Oh, enjoy that. I'm going to decide what to eat in a moment.
Oh, enjoy yourself. Ta-ra for now.
Bye, dear listener. Love you.
Goodbye now.
Bye.